Hello, everybody. Welcome again to another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. Hopefully, you can see me and you can hear me. And let me pull this up here just to give you my information. But we will do the intros after the intro splash video, what have you. But tonight we are talking about basically initiating or initiating a tarot deck or working with a tarot deck, a new tarot deck, beyond just shuffling it or seasoning it. And I did make a little mini presentation that I pre-recorded earlier today. And I'm going to go ahead and share that with you, and then also answer any questions that may come up live. But yeah, so that was I believe, a request from someone, and that is tonight's episode on basically introducing yourself to your tarot deck and your tarot deck introducing itself to you beyond just shuffling it and shuffling it until you feel comfortable with it, basically. Let me upload the intro stuff, and also let me upload that presentation as well while we're at it. So let me see if I can do it in one shot. Yes. Okay. Oh, I guess not. I can't multi-select. Hold on, please. Let's at least do the intro first. Upload that. And let me see if I can upload the other one. So, yes. Okay. All right. I think I'm ready. I think I'm good. All right. I will be back in about 26 seconds. And I'm also putting on my sweater here because it is chilly in here. All right. Yes. Good. Okay, so hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Hilary, of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, here to demystify the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You absolutely have intuition. This is something that I firmly believe. And so, as you saw, or as you heard before the intro video, and then also on the intro video, we are talking about initiating, or what is the name of this episode again? Hold, please. How to initiate your new tarot deck beyond just shuffling. That's the name of the episode. That is the name of the game for tonight's episode. But before we get into that, we're going to do the mainstays of the episode, which is the astro-weather from Teresa Reed's wonderful Astro Biz Digest for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to get into the main topic, which is initiating your new tarot deck beyond just shuffling. Even though shuffling, you're going to have to shuffle your deck in order to really get your energy into the mix to use that tarot deck. But we are going to talk a little bit about other things that you can do, other crystals you can work with, smudging, saging, using incense. Again, crystals you can use. And also being very purposeful about the questions that you ask a tarot deck can also help to focus the energy of that tarot deck into one that you use for more general readings. Are you going to use a tarot deck for readings with clients? Are you going to use a tarot deck for readings just for your own personal practice? We're going to talk about that too. In the middle of the episode, we are going to do the mid-episode reading, which one lucky viewer can win a reading with me, a 3-card reading with me live on the broadcast. And then at the end of the episode, we'll do the weekend forecast, which is either a tarot or an oracle card to go into the weekend prepared and not scared. So if that sounds good to everyone, please let me know in the chat. Let me know that you're here watching live and where you're tuning in from, because I would love to hear that too. I'm going to quickly do a tech check before we move into the AstroBiz Digest or the astro-weather, just to make sure that everything is broadcasting correctly on the Book of Face and the Tube of You. It looks like it is. I hope it is. Yep, it looks good. Looks good on the Book of Face. And let's see. Let's go over to the Tube of You. Make sure that is broadcasting correctly. You know, the other week when I was broadcasting, at one point, I couldn't see the comments in my third-party app studio. I couldn't see the comments coming up, and so I knew that people were commenting because I just knew it. It was too quiet. You know how sometimes things are just too quiet, and you know that something's off from that. So that was happening last week. So I was able to skip over into open up the Book of Face or the Tube of You onto another tab and make sure that people's comments were still coming in, which they were, but I wasn't able to display them as I was answering them. So that was a little bit of a weird issue that I had last week. Hopefully that has resolved itself and we won't have that happen again this time, but I will definitely still be monitoring things to make sure. I do know that the Tube of You was working because Dina's watching from the Tube of You, and I appreciate that. Hi, Dina. Welcome. Glad to see you. Let me see here. Yeah, everything's looking good. Good. All right. So prepare those questions for, you know, prepare those questions about initiating a tarot deck beyond shuffling for me, so that when we get into that portion of the episode, you can just go ahead and drop your questions, or you can drop your questions now and I will get to them when we're at that point. And if you have suggestions on what you do to introduce yourself to a new tarot deck, I would love to hear them. I'm always interested in how people interact with their decks. I'm always really interested in how people receive their psychic or intuitive information, because no two people will receive things in exactly the same way. So it's always fascinating to me. So please don't be shy. Share your experiences as well. All right, so let's do the astrology from Teresa Reed's wonderful AstroBiz Digest. Let me go ahead and share that information into the chat, so you can go and get a copy of the AstroBiz Digest for yourself if you are so inclined. And I'm going to remove that. So yeah, this is the AstroBiz Digest. It's $99 for a year-long subscription with astrology in layman's terms straight to your email inbox. It is geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners, but I have found it to be incredibly helpful in planning my personal life as well. And I do see that Dina has asked a question about a used tarot deck and how you would initiate it and how it would be maybe different to if you were working with a tarot deck straight out of a sealed box. So I see your question, Dina, and we will get into it at that portion of the episode. Okay, so let us talk about The astrology that's going on this week, I'm going to actually just read it from my phone because I don't really feel like having tabs all over the place. I like to focus on the questions as they're coming in too. And by the way, if you want to get a copy of the AstroBiz Digest for yourself, the link is in the chat and it's also displayed on my screen right now, thetarotlady.com/AstroBiz Digest if you want to pick up a copy for yourself. But please don't follow the link just yet. Please stay tuned for the astrology and stay tuned for the entire episode. And then if you like what you're hearing, you can go ahead and follow that link after the episode is over. All right. Let me pull that up. And also let me drink some water because I'm very parched. I actually did some tapping with a couple of people earlier today, and we actually recorded an episode of Card Slingers that is going to be coming out in November on tapping and the intersection between tarot and tapping. And so I ended up doing a lot of tapping today. I ended up doing a tapping within that episode. So you'll be able to check that out and follow along and tap along with us when that episode comes out on Card Slingers. But then I also did do my own tapping practice. And so I'm like feeling, pun slightly intended, tapped out a little bit. So I'm feeling a little parched. I've been drinking a lot of water today and I'm feeling a little bit tired. So I would not be surprised if it's an early bedtime for me tonight. All right. There it is. So AstroBiz Digest for forecast for October 16th through the 22nd of 2023. So everything goes hush hush when Mercury moves into Scorpio on the 22nd. So this transit prefers top secret meetings, exclusive deals, and behind the scenes strategies. Secrets can be revealed as well, so keep your ears pricked for relevant info. Someone may have something to share that could impact your business or industry. However, if you don't want your business made public, zip your lips. Remember, this is happening when Mercury moves into Scorpio on the 22nd. So that would be 2 days from now, Sunday. Also, use this transit for research. It's dynamite for ferreting out facts. Mercury leaves Scorpio on November 10th. So we are under Mercury's influence, Mercury in Scorpio influence between October 22nd to November 10th. So that is the big transit that's happening this week. Only one, but it's significant and it's happening on Sunday. All right, for Friday. So today, Friday, October 20th, Friday starts with the Sun conjunct Mercury at 1:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, an aspect that lingers all day long. It's marvelous for PR, so be sure to hit it hard. Pitch the media, host a live stream, hello, hi, or engage with the public via podcasts and fun events. Just don't skip this vibe. 2 wonderful spots to meet your fans. The Moon-Venus trine at 4:59 p.m. or the Moon-Jupiter trine at 7:30 p.m. So that's about a half an hour from now. If you host a gathering or put your face out there, you can attract new people and fresh dollar bills. Hello, hi, welcome if you are new here. These aspects are also mega cool for marketing. The public is in a spendy mood, so go get them. Mercury square Pluto at 8:51 p.m. is your official cue to take the night off. So I am hoping to not host this live stream past that point. The news cycle promises to be full of bluster, distracting folks. It's best to put your work aside for another day. I'd also advise against negotiating anything this evening. The energy is too stubborn. So today, Friday, October 20th, is a power day for Capricorn and a weak day for Cancer. So let me pause there for a moment. get myself some more water, and then we'll move into Saturday and Sunday, because that's like, whoo, that's a lot of energy already. I also just had dinner like early. So I'm feeling like I scarfed everything down and now everything's like sitting right here in my stomach. All right. Saturday. Saturday finds the sun locked in a square with Pluto, which means power struggles are the theme all day long. Oh, fantastic. That's great. The public is cranky. Wannabe dictators occupy all the space and wallets snap shut. Negotiations will go nowhere, so put meetings off until a better time. Saturday has two decent spots for creative social media campaigns: the Moon Uranus trine at 12:21 p.m. and the Moon Neptune sextile at 6:17 p.m. These spots would also be groovy for team meetings. Otherwise, Saturday is pretty much a business bust. Sunday fares better in the morning. Venus is in a trine with Jupiter at 12:32 a.m., a lucky aspect that brings plenty of rewards for imaginative PR efforts. It's also divine timing for publishing or travel. Yay, it's yours for about 2 days, so max that out. The moon is in Aquarius on Sunday at 2:06 a.m., which puts teamwork, group activities, technology, and networking on the front burner. Also, Mercury heads into Scorpio at 2:49 a.m., a rad transit for top secret everything. So we already talked about that a little. Mercury trines Saturn at 12:12 p.m., your best aspect for serious meetings, negotiation, writing, research, and any work that requires concentration. It will be hanging out for 2 days, so get on it. Avoid arguments when the moon squares Mars at 2:21 p.m. If someone wants to pick a business fight, opt out of it. Another dicey aspect occurs at 10:27 p.m. when the moon squares Jupiter. At that time, travel gets annoying and spending gets stupid. Put away your wallet and keep your cool if you're flying home. Saturday is a power day for Capricorn and a weekday for Cancer, and Sunday is a power day for Aquarius and a weekday for Leo. Woo! Yes. So I will shout out Dina's comment here. We could take some deep breaths together for digestion. Yeah, because I'm like gurgling. All right. While we're doing the deep breaths, people can think of any questions they might have about the astrology, or if you wanted me to take a look at Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, just really quickly in regards to what was going on for you this week, I can do that. But yeah. Whew. All right, everybody take a deep breath in. Breathe in a little bit more. Hold. And breathe out. Let's do that again. Take a deep breath in. And let it out. And one more time, take a deep breath in. Hold it. And let it go with a big sigh. A little bit better? Feeling a little bit more digested? I know I am. And Katie is here. Hello, Katie. So before we move on to the main topic of tonight's episode, does anyone want me to take a look at Monday through Thursday, astrology-wise, using the AstroBiz Digest? I'll give you about a minute or so, and then we're going to going to show the presentation that I did or pre-recorded for y'all, and you can feel free to ask your questions. Dina's already put one of her questions into the chat, but you can go ahead and put in your questions at any time. And Katie is saying last Monday morning ET was weird for me. Okay. Monday morning. Scorpio moon. Tidy up loose ends, handle behind the scenes issues, and manage financials. If you can work from home in solitude, even better. Intuition is sharp all day, so obey your business instincts. And then there is a moon Jupiter opposition at 7:31 a.m. So possible financial extravagance, and avoid making business investments around this time. So there you go, Katie. Anyone else? By the way, I do want to let you guys know that I did start a new social media account on the gram of Insta for tapping specifically. So instead of Tarot by Hilary, it's Tapping by Hilary. And I will go ahead and put that username into the chat. So I would appreciate a follow if you feel so inclined and if you're interested in my the tapping side of my business. So I'm going to go ahead and display that there. All right, one more minute and then we'll move into tonight's topic. Okay, bidoki. Let me make sure that my laptop is plugged in. All right, so as I was saying before, I did do a little pre-recording of this episode so that I can focus specifically on presenting this topic for you. It's a relatively short pre-recording, about 6 minutes in length. And I hope you enjoy it. And then we'll get to some questions afterwards. So here you go. Hopefully it's this one. Yes, I think it is. Hey, everybody. So I figured I would try and do this presentation ahead of time. And then that way I can just kind of relax through this presentation, answer questions for you as they come up in real time. But, you know, focus on presenting this stuff outside of the comments. And then, present Hilary will be there to run this and answer any questions you may have on real time. So tonight's episode, we're talking about how to initiate your new tarot deck beyond just shuffling or seasoning the cards. I don't understand where this seasoning the cards came from. I really don't. I feel like we're talking about food and chicken and cooking when tarot readers talk about seasoning the cards, and basically seasoning is just shuffling them, just shuffling the deck over and over and over again. So I tend to not use the word seasoning because it just makes me really hungry. But yeah, anyway. So beyond just shuffling the cards, how do you work with a new tarot deck or a new to you tarot deck? So what I would recommend is starting by researching the history and the symbolism of tarot. You don't have to go into all of the history of where tarot comes from, because that's going to be a little bit hard to do, considering the fact that a lot of the history of tarot has been lost to time and misinformation. There has been links to Egypt occultism, which has not been true. And if you want to learn a little bit more about that, I do have a chapter on the history of cartomancy in my book, How to Read Tarot, if you want like a really quick overview of the history of tarot. You can also take a look at some other books dedicated to the subject of researching the history of tarot. That also includes A Wicked Deck of Cards, I believe, by Ronald Decker, I think, is the author of that. But yeah, check out that history and the symbolism of tarot. Before you even start to get to know your new tarot deck, you have to find a deck that vibes with your spirit and your intentions. Like choosing a tarot deck. I think we've done another episode on choosing a tarot deck. So you may want to check that out as well, in conjunction with watching this episode. Consider cleansing and consecrating your deck before use. So you can do that by using incense or Palo Santo, waving that around your deck. You can also use different crystals, depending, again, on the intention in which you're going to use that tarot deck. If you want to use that deck for more general readings, that's fine. You could probably use a clear quartz. If you want to use the reading for like love, if you want to use the deck for like love reading specifically, you may want to use a rose quartz. So consider how you are going to be using the deck. Are you going to be using it to read for other people? Are you going to be using it to read just for yourself? That may change how you want to cleanse and consecrate your deck before you use it. Understanding your tarot deck. Understanding tarot goes beyond just shuffling the deck. You've got to get the cards, like their hidden meaning. You have to research. You want to maybe meditate with your cards or meditate with different cards on a different day. You may want to do visualization techniques or a guided meditation in which you enter the card, that sort of thing. So you can go beyond just shuffling your tarot deck by meditating on the different symbols of or the different archetypes that are represented in the tarot. You've got to learn how to cleanse your tarot deck. You can shuffle your deck thoroughly to clear any previous energy. You can, again, use smoke from sage, Palo Santo, incense to cleanse the cards. You can either put your deck of cards on a windowsill to either charge by the light of the moon or by the light of the sun. You can also place a selenite or clear quartz on the top of the deck when not in use to cleanse it of the different reading energies. Connecting with your tarot deck, you can meditate with your deck to connect with its energy. You may want to create a sacred space in which to do your readings. Again, there is a chapter on that in my book too. And also journaling about your experience and insights with your deck, and also with your card of the day practice if you pull a card every single day. Before you do your first tarot reading, you may want to choose a spread that aligns with your question. And you may want to also do a reading on how you're going to be working with that deck if you do have multiple decks. pull one card at a time. I recommend this really highly. I know there are a lot of people that want to run before they walk with tarot. And I would really encourage you to pull one card at a time, do one card readings, get used to doing one card readings before you go ahead and graduate to 2 or 3 card combinations. And only do that when you feel comfortable with your one card readings. Try not to go too fast. I know people really want to get ahead of themselves, but be gentle with yourself, because you have to be gentle with yourself with learning any new skill like reading tarot. There's very few people that start out being perfect at something right out the gate. Cultivate a beginner's mind and be gentle and compassionate with yourself as you're learning any new skill. And that's about it. That's it in a nutshell. I'm sure there will be more questions coming up as we go. And so I'm happy to answer your questions as they come up. And yeah, let's talk about what you do to initiate a new tarot deck before you start working with it beyond just shuffling. I would love to hear your thoughts. All right, hopefully you can hear me. Considering I just completely had that full screen, no audio, no background audio from me while I was listening along. And also, so I started to write more notes, because as I was watching that and listening to what I said that I recorded earlier, I was just like, oh, I have other thoughts, obviously, besides just saying, read my book, buy my book. And it's true, I do have some chapters devoted to what to do with your first tarot deck. I do have chapters dedicated to how to choose your first tarot deck. And I also do have what was it? There was another chapter in there on how to create your basically your sacred space in which to do your readings, like dedicating a portion of your home to your reading space. And that's another way to not necessarily connect specifically to a specific deck, but in order to connect to your practice. But one of the other things that I was thinking of as I was listening to that was learning the cards in order. And what I mean by that is that the specific order of the major arcana and the specific order of the minor arcana is there for a reason. Such as why is the star come after the why does the star come after the Tower card? It's intentional. Because if learning the journey of the major arcana in order can then put yourself into context of where you are in your journey, especially if you happen to receive the Tower card. It's not necessarily a guarantee that you're going to have the calm after the storm or the healing energy of the Star card, but it is something to keep in mind as you're giving readings or receiving readings, is what came before the Tower card and what came before this. What comes after the Tower card can really help to determine your interpretations of these cards, and also make the message not necessarily gentler than it has to be, because sometimes, tough love tarot reading is a thing. And you tend to listen to the message if it's a little bit more direct and to the point. And I know a lot of my clients come back to me because I don't sugarcoat, because I'm not that type of reader. I usually give them the information straight, no chaser. However, there is a way to do that with compassion and love and kindness, I guess would be the right word. And so, when you have a card like the Tower card, remembering what comes after the Tower card in the order, the chronological order of the majors, can also help in understanding your tarot deck. And also, like, looking at the symbology and looking at the theme of your deck can help you to understand it and make a personal connection to it as well. Does that make sense to everybody before I move on to Dina's question? Mm-hmm. So Katie says part of initiating a card deck with yourself is seeing the symbolism in the card. So sitting with each card and looking at what the artist has put into the image. Yeah, meditating on that image. And then also, as I said in the video, there are certain meditations or guided meditations in which you can enter the tarot card in order to better understand it and also better interpret it as well. So Dina asked before, if you bought a used tarot deck, what would you do to initiate it? I would probably put it into chronological order. So majors, so I would split it off into the major arcana and then order it, zero the Fool through the World card, put it into order, and then I would take out the wands, the pentacles, the swords, the cups, and then order those together and then put the deck together. And probably I would leave it out on a windowsill overnight or over a few nights with a big chunk of clear quartz or smoky quartz or selenite on top of it. And then I would feel my way too. Like if I went to touch the deck and pick it up and I still felt some like residual energy that maybe wasn't mine or wasn't neutral, I would leave it for another day or so. And then I would pick it up, shuffle it, or season it like is chicken. I'm sorry. I can't say season. I can't. It's shuffling. You're shuffling the deck. So I would shuffle the deck, and then I would probably ask the deck as one of the first questions, is it ready? Is it ready to work with me? Is it cleansed? And see what card comes up from that. If it's a really negative card, I would assume that as a no. And I would, do that, putting it in order again, all over again, and slap another stone on it and put it on the windowsill again. And if it does say that it's ready, if I get a positive or a yes to it, then I'll ask the question, what do we need to know about working with this particular deck, and see if it has any ideas as to what it wants to read on. Because sometimes there are certain decks that are better at business readings than love readings, than health readings or whatever. So sometimes, I'll ask the spirit of that tarot deck what it wants to be used for. And then sometimes I'll pre-program it myself. And it's not really a mystical way of pre-programming it to my mind. It's just I will specifically ask that topic of questions to that deck until it becomes attuned with that and becomes really good at that specific topic of reading. So, like, for example, the Mystic Dreamer tarot by Heidi Duras, that's my romance deck, just because I've done a lot of love readings on that particular deck. And then when people are asking me about a relationship, they'll usually gravitate towards that deck. So it's just become my love readings deck. So I hope that helps. Does that answer the question? So I would probably go to a little bit more of an effort with a used tarot deck. There are some tarot readers that really enjoy using a tarot deck without using a used tarot deck without going through any cleansing methods. For example, Sophia, our own Sophia Benevolent Corvus, she, I believe, put up a video on the Tube of You talking about how she enjoys picking up secondhand tarot decks and using it without cleansing, so to speak. And I mean, that's fine and that's good. Like, you know, do what pleases you, but at the same time, you know, like, know that that might not be everybody's journey. And I'm not going to yuck on someone's yum. If someone genuinely enjoys a used tarot deck and doesn't cleanse it because they want to vibe with that energy, then by all means, you know, do what pleases you. I mean, that is one of the adages of modern witchcraft, and it harm them, do as you will. Any other questions? I think I might have mentioned this also in the video, but if I didn't, I just wanted to at least touch upon it, where you can use different crystals for different purposes. Like if you want to imbue a love reading energy, you can use like a rose quartz on top of it. If you want to do it for general purposes, you can do a clear quartz. If you want to do it for protection or for shadow work, you might want to use a labradorite or an onyx or a jet, or bloodstone. So you can help with the energy of crystals and the energy of incense or herbs, to help cleanse and personalize your deck as well. So Katie says, I find part of the initiating a deck is initiating yourself to that card. Each card may have a story related to it that will help you understand it. So read the notes in the accompanying guidebook so that you are familiar with what the story is, its symbolism, and the general feel of the card. I agree. There was actually one of the first students that took my tarot intuitive course. She was reading with a deck that I was not familiar with, but it was Mythic Tarot. And I think it was each suit ran through a different Greek myth, I believe it was. Like wands, I think, was like Jason and the Argonauts. Cups was something else. Pentacles was something else. But it was like the myth or one of the main myths of the Greek pantheon were within the different minor arcana suits. And I found that to be really interesting. And so I basically said, it's just like, listen, you can use the Mythic Tarot as long as you feel comfortable using it as a part of this program. But I am going to say, like, go to your guidebook for help in interpretation if what I'm saying or the symbolism that I'm saying on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is not applicable to the Mythic Tarot, you know? But like, this is the reason, part of the reason that tarot works is that there is such rich symbolism and deep archetypes that, you know, yes, there is some structure there. And yes, it does take time to learn the tarot deck. But there are some tarot decks that you can just pick up and start reading immediately because that symbolism or that archetype is so strongly visually depicted that, you know, that's kind of where the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words comes in, where there are some things that, you know, cannot be translated into words, but the visual or the art kind of cuts through all of that to give you the message. Yes, yep. So Katie is talking about the Mythic Tarot here. That's a deck I have. Cups was a story of psyche, and it helps give you a feel of the journey of a relationship and its ups and downs. Yep, thank you for that example. So I knew that. I'm pretty darn sure that Jason and the Argonauts is the one for the suit of wands, but it's good to know that Cups is the story of psyche, and having that through line of one story running through that the aces through the tens of the minor arcana suits is incredibly helpful. And I think some of the strongest tarot decks have that as a strength, where you see the newness of a relationship, for example, in the Ace of Cups, and then you see the possible, possible obstacles to that in the Five of Cups. You see the reconnection and nostalgia in the Six of Cups, and you see the completion of that story in the Ten of Cups. So too, can you do that for swords and for wands and for swords, wands, and for pentacles? Yes, pentacles. Just like, I know I'm missing a suit there. Hold on. Oh, good. Confirmation. So yes, Jason is wands. So does anyone else want to chime in on like what they do to initiate themselves to a tarot deck, or vice versa? And I mean, like I was saying before, we've done a couple of episodes on, I guess, corresponding or related episodes to this topic, such as how do you know you're choosing the right tarot deck for you? So how do you choose a tarot deck? How do you introduce yourself to a tarot deck? How do you learn tarot? These are all, concepts that I talk about in my book, How to Read Tarot. Did I hold it up yet? I probably did. I'll hold it up again because I'm very proud of it. As of next month, it's going to be out a year. So, goodness gracious me, I can't believe that. All right, this is a little bit witchy and weird, but I just turned to that exact page in the book, which is connecting with your deck. This can be the first question you ask the cards as you shuffle. What do I need to know about working with this deck? Pull one, two, or three cards. What do you see? How do you feel? And how do you break in a new tarot deck? Studying the little white book is also very helpful too, or the companion book, to understand the theme and any variances to traditional numbering or naming. My example that I know nothing, didn't herb was selected to be recommend studying the major arcana first before diving into the minor arcana, just because I feel like it makes that that learning process a little bit easier, almost like looking at the big archetypes first and parsing them down before going into the minutia of the minor arcana. I don't know. I just found it to be easier starting the major arcana and then moving into the minor arcana to understand it. But your opinion may vary, and if starting with the minor arcana first makes the most sense to you, then do that. I think we all learn things in different ways, and I think we should honor our learning styles when we're learning something new. Any other questions? Do we want to move on to the mid-episode reading, which is kind of like the 3/4 of an episode reading at this point? All right, let's do it. Why not? So, yes, that's also a really good point, Dina. I like when Teresa Reed does an unboxing and shuffles, then picks a card which represents the theme of that new deck. And I mean, I'm sure you've seen it enough where it's been kind of delightful and surprising, but also not that surprising. Like there was one deck that I saw she unboxed, and it was very much a deck that was very like holistic and world based and being like a world citizen, like a very, very like the world is bigger than your front door kind of deck. I don't know. I got that feel from it. And then, of course, the card that she pulled to represent the theme of that new deck was the world card. So, of course. Mm-hmm. So Dina does that too, putting the deck back in order. And by the way, that's a great technique to do. At any time, it doesn't necessarily have to be a new deck. If you feel like you need to cleanse a deck, just put it back in its original order and leave it sitting out on the windowsill for a little while. Anytime you feel like a deck is getting snarky or beyond the usual snarkiness of the deck, go ahead and reset it by putting the cards back in order. Or that might just be how the tarot deck speaks to you. I know it certainly does to me. All right. So to be considered for a live reading, go ahead and put a comment into the chat after we put the lottery jar up. Hold, please. Comment snake and lottery jar. Okay, we're good to go. So Katie says, it took me a while with one of my decks because it came from an unfamiliar symbolism and culture. Understandable. So I was stuck reading the book meaning, and even then it was still hard. Some decks aren't meant for us, like there's hard as in difficult, right? And then there's sometimes that too hard. And I think that sometimes too hard can be a sign that maybe that's not the right deck for us. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And Katie says, I had bought it for its artistic beauty and not as a deck initially. And there are some people that collect tarot decks and purely for the aesthetics and not necessarily with any intention to read with it. So. All right. So I believe Dina is in the lottery jar. So in the running for the mid-episode reading. And I'm going to go ahead and put a countdown widget too, just to make it fair. So this is going to close in about 3 minutes and 33 seconds. And let me see, which deck do I have here? I have the Reflective Tarot. And then for the weekend forecast, I think we're going to do an affirmation card from the Super Attractor affirmation deck by Gabby Bernstein. I did not mean to do that. And hopefully I didn't drop water onto my headphones case. That would not be good. All right, another 2 minutes. And now Katie is in the running. Quick, everyone watching, get a reading. Just say hello or something. Now, if someone does get picked for the mid-episode reading and wants to abdicate or wants to give it to the next person, that's completely fine. Jolene is also here saying hello, and so now her name is submitted. Suzanne, I had a reading last week and it was marvelous. Yeah, all right, Suzanne. So sweet of you. Thank you for commenting. It was my pleasure. Yeah, exactly. Katie's very pleased with herself. Ha ha ha, it worked. Yes. So yeah, that's the way to do it. If you want to be considered for a live reading, you go ahead and comment in the chat, and I guess the algorithm will pick that up and drop your profile image into the lottery jar. And that way I can just click get a winner, and then that person will get the reading. So as of right now, you've got a 1 in 4 chance, I believe, maybe 1 in 5. I'm not sure. There's a whole lot of profile images there in the lottery jar. So another Aussie. Okay. Been here the whole time, but had to iron a shirt and drop my son off at the station. It's morning here in Australia. I know about the time difference. I've got my Aussies here. Very nice. All right. 9, 8, 7, 6. Jenna's got in under the wire. Hi, I'm new here. The universe must have brought me. Oh, that's awesome. Well, maybe you'll win the reading. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take down the crawler here. Okay. So for those of you, so I can only read for one person during the mid-episode reading, but so don't feel bad if you don't get selected this time around. You'll just have to come back next week and put your name in the hat again. So I'm going to go ahead and click get a winner. And once I click that, whoever wins, you're going to put your question into the chats, and then I'm going to pull 3 cards for your question. You'll get your reading done live right here on the broadcast. So here we go. Drum roll, please. And oh, Suzanne. Well, Suzanne did have a reading last week, I believe. So Suzanne, you have a couple of options. I'm not going to, deny you if you need a reading now. So Suzanne, if you want to go ahead and submit your question, you can. If you want to pass it off to the next person, you can just write pass, and I'll pull somebody else's name. So it's up to you. Okay. Very well. Thank you very much, Suzanne. Hi. Yes, please pass on to somebody else. All right. I'm going to pick another winner. Jenna P. Jenna P. The universe is on your side, my friend. You are the winner because Suzanne passed. So go ahead and put your question into the chat, and I will pull 3 cards for your question. And I'm going to go ahead and pull back my hair. Everyone, give a clap, give a round of applause for Jenna for being bold and just trying, getting in there first try. Very nice. No shame in the game. That's what the mid-episode reading is here for. All right. Okay. So Jenna is asking a question regarding my relationship with my man, Aquarius and Aries. Now, just because I do the astrology at the top of the episode doesn't necessarily mean I am an astrologer. I know just enough astrology to be dangerous. I'm an Aries myself, so God love you if your man is an Aries, and God love yourself if you are an Aries. Okay, I'm Aquarius, he is Aries, been together 12 years but not married. Okay. And so what's your question, Jenna? Just want to know what's going on with the relationship, or something more specific than that? Let me know. Dina's got a really good comment about decks. Some decks, I just feel a connection. Right now, I feel so connected to the Wiser Tarot. Yeah, a lot of people really like the Wiser Tarot. Okay, so Jenna's saying 4-hour future. All right. Well, just so you know, I don't offer guarantees here. I'm just a card reader. I'm just going to say what I see and what cards I'm pulling. But there was a flyer card that happened while I was shuffling, and that was the 6 of Pentacles. I'm going to pull 3 more cards. Do you see us getting married? I feel like you guys, I don't necessarily see marriage. I do see that it's kind of a shit or get off the pot moment that is going on in your relationship. The reason why I'm saying that is because you got the 6 of Pentacles coming up as the flyer card, which is the advice card, which is basically like, to me, the 6 of Pentacles is kind of like doling out resources or doling out energy. And it feels very much like who's in the driver's seat here? Do you feel like you have to chase him to get attention, or is it vice versa? There feels like the 6s can indicate a balance, but it's not necessarily an even balance. Do you know what I mean? So you're kind of like, there's always one person that's a little bit more needy, or one person that's asking for attention that's not necessarily getting it. So there is this kind of like question of balance and balance of resources. That's the very first card. Now you do have, so I pulled 3 more cards besides the flyer card. That was the 6 of Pentacles. And 2 out of those 3 cards are major arcana. So I do feel like it's kind of weird that it's just like the universe must have brought me here, is what you were saying, and then you ended up getting the reading. So to me, that combined with the 2 major arcana cards is kind of a sit up and pay attention kind of reading. So and you've got 2 major cards out of the 3 cards. So first card is strength. So the strength card, to me, I'm not a huge fan of the strength card coming up because it feels a little bit like that hanging there kitten kind of energy, but it does feel like you have more reserves than you know, but it has been a tough situation. And I think there is a bit of like gritting your teeth and muscling through, instead of having things just go with the flow, you know? And it just feels very hard. Like, you know how I was saying before, about tarot decks. I feel like it's significant about like almost your relationship, where it's just like there's hard, for good reason, and then there's too hard, and too hard being a sign of something else. And I feel like this relationship is pushing past the point of hard for good reason and hard because it's just, there's something that's just not working right now. And that might have been something that you've been saying to yourself. It's just like, why is this so hard? Why has this been such a difficult time? Is it the timing? Is it the energy? Am I not doing enough? Am I doing too much? And I do think that one of you is doing too much, and there isn't a balance, there isn't a give and take in the relationship as there should be. The second card, which feels a little scary, but I think it's scary for good reason, because it's almost like a wake up and pay attention kind of card, is the Death card. Now, the Death card doesn't necessarily mean physical death, but it does mean that there needs to be a change. Something needs to end, something needs to transform. Otherwise, it is going to die off. And this might be the point in your relationship where it's just like, we need to evolve past this. We need to evolve either past the stories we've been telling each other, past the, like, it feels as if there's like been a lot of stuff that has been rehashed. And at a certain point where it's just like, I know we said that in the past, or I know that I did that in the past, or I know that you did that in the past. But it's just like, at some point we have to let the past go in order to move on, in order to see a future. And now I do think that there is a future possible for you, but you both have to want it, and you both have to want it just as much as the other person. But something needs to change, something needs to transition, something needs to evolve, and the past has to stay in the past in order for you to have a future. Let me know if this is making sense. Now, finally, you do have the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is not necessarily a good card or a bad card, but it is indicating there is work that has been put in, but it's just like, it's almost like it's not enough. You know, like you're looking at the fruits of your labors, and you're just like, you know, like it feels a little like too little too late, because you've been like, it's almost like you've been crying out for this the entire time, and it hasn't been taken seriously. And now you're like at the point where you're taking it seriously, and you're demanding the other person to take it seriously, and they're just like, this is coming out of left field. No, it's not coming out of left field. Like, it's just, I've been saying this. I don't think you've been paying attention or listening to how serious I am. Oh, okay. So Jenna says, this is so spot on. It's scary. We are working through some stuff right now. Okay, good. I'm not going to say that it's just like, oh, too little, too late, or it's not possible. But I am saying that it's just like, this is kind of a make or break moment for your relationship. And I think it's possible, but like, he's got to take it seriously. And it's just like, the past has got to be in the past, because there's been mistakes made on both sides, you know, but there's only so long that you are allowed to punish the other person before it's finally like, when are you just going to let this stuff go? And like, let's just be happy, you know? And it's not denying what happened. It's just like we're not going to be happy if we continue to live in the past. Okay. Yes, I've been begging for his attention, want to actually date again and not just be mommy and daddy 24/7. Yep. Yeah. Well, that's your sign. That's your sign to begin again. Not necessarily begin again with another person, but begin like resolving to begin again within the relationship. So that's what I've got for you. That's your mid-episode reading. Thank you, Jenna, for being open and vulnerable to receive the reading. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your participation. If you want to go a little bit deeper, I know there's only so much I can really give on a live stream reading. But if you want to go more in depth and book a reading, you can do so at tarotbyhilary.com. And that's true for all of you. If you didn't happen to get selected for the mid-episode reading this week, never fear, I will be doing it again next week. So there is always more opportunities to get a reading from me. And if you didn't win it this week, you can always book a session with me, tarotbyhilary.com. And also I do tapping as well, which can really help move things through your subconscious so that you're not, I guess, moving through or thinking through situations with like subconscious programming going on. I think it can really help in many instances, including romantic instances, or being more open to love or evolving relationships. So you can always book me for a tapping session as well. So Jenna says, thank you so much. I liked and subscribed. The universe knew I needed this. Absolutely, Jenna. You're very, very welcome. And I'm so glad you subscribed. And thank you for reminding me to remind people to do that. So be sure to follow, like, subscribe, click the bell to know when I'm doing these live again. I do the weekly show every Friday night, 6:30 or 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let me go ahead and close up the lottery jar, leave the comment snake going. All right, does anyone have any other questions or comments or ways that they initiate their new tarot deck? And if you do have a tarot deck that you use for a specific purpose, one, what's the purpose? And two, how did you train your tarot deck to do that? I mean, I have my own ways. Because either the deck will say to me, will just give a business reading when I wanted to ask about love. And then it's just like, no, well, we're going to talk about your career right now. And I'm just like, but I asked about love. And it's just like, yeah, but we're going to talk about your career. And I'm just like, okay. The Silver Era Tarot, for some reason is really, really awesome for business readings, or at least I have found people gravitate towards that deck when they want to talk about their career or their business. And so it's turned into a deck that I use for business or career readings. And then there are other decks that I used it just so much for that type of reading that it became really focused or attuned to that type of reading. Have you had that experience before? And if so, which decks do you use for what? Not necessarily the topic of tonight's episode, but I'm curious. Oh, cool. That's interesting that you say that. I've been trying tarot for a while. I started with the Fountain Tarot. I love the Fountain Tarot, by the way, but had a hard time because it was so bland. Okay. So I switched to the haunted house deck. It's better for me, but still trying. See, so there's a great example of like, I love the Fountain Tarot. I think it's a beautiful deck. But it can be very difficult to read with because I don't know if bland, I wouldn't call it bland. I think the imagery is very beautiful, but there are some cards where it's just like, it's hard to like, it's so slick, I guess, the imagery, that it's hard to like really glom onto anything to be able to interpret the card. Haunted house deck. I've heard really good things about the haunted house deck, but I just don't have a copy of it for myself. It's better for me, but still trying. So, like, honestly, you might not have found your deck yet, and that's okay. Like, I love this one. This one's the Reflective Tarot. That's what I used for your reading. And it's based on the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, but it has an iridescent sheen to it. And it is also considered like a mini deck. Not necessarily a pocket-sized deck, but I think it's like considered mini. Like the mini, what is it? Where is it? It's like about half the size of a standard tarot deck. So, I understand that like money doesn't necessarily grow on trees. And we do have to be aware of what we're spending our money on, but you can always look at different unboxing videos on the Tube of You. You can always look at different imagery on different sites like tarot.com. I used to peruse tarot.com because they had that, like, I guess, not a bot necessarily, but they had a way of doing readings, and you could kind of almost test drive a deck without actually buying the deck and seeing some of the cards that came up. So that's another way of like looking and seeing, is this my deck, or do I vibe with this without purchasing one first? So, right. No, I know you're not trying to insult it. It's so beautiful. I don't mean bland in a bad way. It's just not as colorful, and the illustrations aren't as standout and obvious to me as the haunted house. Yes. No, I caught your meaning, because it's just like, it's almost like glass in a way. Like, it's just like, it's smooth and it's beautiful, but there's sometimes something that there's nothing I can really like hook my intuition into to be able to interpret it. So the journey of finding a tarot deck is an interesting one, but like once you find it, like you're going to be like, oh, okay, this is my deck. I got it. All right. And then there are some decks that I just don't read with other people. I don't use it for client readings. For example, if you go back to my unboxing or my revisitation of the Mary L Tarot, which is what I'm using for the deck of the month for October, I don't use this deck with a lot of people because some of the imagery is like so deep and so intense that it's just like, it's just like, I like to go deep with my clients, but sometimes with the Mary L Tarot, it's a little too deep. It's a little too intense. So Jenna's asking, do you have any tips for beginners on remembering the meanings for the minor arcana? I struggle with that the most. My tips on remembering the meanings for the minor arcana is using a deck that has an image in every single card. Basically using a deck that has illustrated pips or illustrated minor arcana cards, so that there is a story in every card, so that you don't necessarily have to memorize the meanings. You just see the story on the card, and that is a way, I guess, to interpret. Like, tell the story that's on the card, and then take that story that's on the card and then add in what was the question that you were asking about or the topic that you were asking about. That's my tip. Because I do have, so I don't know if you know this. I don't know if some of you know this, but I did write a book. It's called How to Read Tarot, by me. That's me right there. It came out from Flame Tree Publishing last year in November. And it does have keywords in it. It does have keywords for every single card of the 78 cards of the tarot. But I have found, even though that I was a reader that memorized at first, when I was first learning tarot, the more I study tarot and the more that I work with tarot with my clients or teach tarot with my tarot students, the more I realize that memorization might not work for everybody or might not jive with your learning style, and that's okay. Because sometimes the memorization that I get is from a reading that I gave in which it wasn't even the most traditional of interpretations or meanings that I gave to that person, but yet that sticks with me. While at the same time having sacred amnesia and not remembering the nitty-gritty details of every client reading that I've ever done, because it's not my information, it's their information. So it's just like, it's kind of this weird contrast of like, I will remember memorable readings or memorable interpretations of that card, but I might not necessarily remember the details of that client or how that applied necessarily specifically to their readings. And is it on Amazon? Can't find it through Amazon. Try Barnes & Noble, bn.com. Try IndieBound or bookshop.org. That's how you can buy my book. For some reason, Amazon back-ordered it almost immediately when people pre-ordered. I don't think they had enough copies. So try Barnes & Noble, bn.com. How to Read Tarot. And my name is Hilary Perry Haggerty. And yes, I'm still teaching all the time. And this is the purpose of some of these live streams, is to teach a specific topic. And I do this every week, Friday, 6:30 or 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Jenna, I've been live streaming for over 4 years now. So you can look at this channel and search it and see whatever it is that you're trying to learn about. I probably have an episode on it. So, and I also do tarot tutoring sessions as well. So tarotbyhilary.com for more information too. See, Katie never got her copy via Amazon. I know, right? And also my biggest cheerleader, my bestie and hetero life mate, also never got her copy on Amazon. And she is absolutely certain that she was the very first person that pre-ordered. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's out of the distribution of my book is out of my hands. A lot of authors have this this problem where, there are certain things that I don't know, people will bring up in a review of the book, and that is like completely out of their hands. Like, it's just like, I didn't like the title of this book. And it's just like, well, we don't usually get to choose the title of our own book, especially if it's a nonfiction educational book. For example, my book, How to Read Tarot, was originally called Tarot Practical and Celestial. And the publisher decided, we're going to go with a different title, probably because it tested How to Read Tarot tested better. Why wouldn't it? I guess Tarot Practical and Celestial is a little more esoteric than what they were going for. I don't know. I don't like the title. I don't like the cover. Didn't get to choose the cover. It's just like the only thing I can take credit for in this book is my words. I wrote it. I wrote the darn thing. So, and actually I tapped on it a lot when I was writing it, because I was so nervous about, forgetting to put stuff in, or, it's just like, oh, well, I need to mention this and I need to mention this. Oh, and I need to mention this as well. And it's just like, there's only so much you can do in a 128 page book, and I'm sure this is not the last book that I'm ever going to write on the subject of tarot, because tarot is huge. It's such a large topic, and there's so many things, so many aspects of it that you can teach, that it's just like, it's impossible to cover everything that I wanted to say about tarot in one book. So why try to be the ultimate expert on tarot in just one book? It's just not going to happen. So, but yes, I teach every week on this live stream. So check out the replays. I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. And if you're not able to find what you're looking for, feel free to message me, and I can probably point you in the right direction for what you're looking to learn. So shall we do the weekend forecast? No, don't be, please. Jenna, don't be sorry. I just found you. I'm totally excited. Don't be sorry. Okay. This was something that I was trying to, I think I was talking with the Card Slingers. So by the way, I also do a podcast with 2 other tarot readers called Card Slingers Coast to Coast. You can find it wherever you subscribe to your podcasts. Card Slingers, all one word, Coast to Coast. With Melissa Sonova, who's in St. Louis, Jamie Elford, who is on the West Coast, and me, I'm the New Yorker on the East Coast. And we've been podcasting, guys, for like 4 years now. We're moving into our 5th year of podcasting, which is so bizarre to say, but it's true. But the other day I was thinking about, like, when did it become uncool to be excited about things? Like, that really, really bothers me. So, like, don't apologize for being excited about finding me, because I'm excited that you found me. Like, I'm trying not to cry or tear out, but it's just like, when did that become uncool to be excited about something and to show your exuberance and excitement about something? I have a feeling it started in the grunge era in the 90s, where it's just like, don't show you're excited about anything. Be apathetic and be wary and be sarcastic and be standoffish. That's cool. No, it's not cool. You just look like an asshole. Be excited. Show your excitement. Show your exuberance. I love to see it. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. Great podcast. Love listening to the 3 of you. We love that you love to listen to us. It's amazing. And also it feeds our fire signs, because we're 3 fire signs. Oh, Katie, Jenna, this is what we do. Ask lots of questions, and being excited is fantastic. Whoop, whoop. Yep. Exactly. So let's do the weekend forecast so that I can rejoin Mr. Tarot by Hilary in watching The Blacklist, already in progress. We finally made it to season 8, by the way. Whew, I don't know how, like, we stopped on season 6, and I think there was something about season 6. I think it was the bugs. There's a lot of episodes about carnivorous bugs in season 6 of The Blacklist. We were watching those episodes, and I'm just like, yep, these were the episodes that we stopped on because I couldn't do it anymore. I'm like, this is no. And we happened to be eating our meal too when we were watching this, and I'm looking at Mr. Tarot by Hilary like, why do you do this? Like, why did we decide to eat this? And now it's this episode. Oh God, it was so bad. But we made it through. So we're the furthest we've ever been in The Blacklist rewatch. So now we can actually see our way to the end. We also, by the way, stopped on Castle. So I've seen Castle all the way to the end, so I know when it got bad. And yeah, we just stopped watching Castle as well. So we need to see our way through that too. Anyway, so we did an episode of The Blacklist before I started broadcasting. And I know he's in the other room probably playing a video game while I'm broadcasting, because he knows that this is the Friday night tradition. So let me grab my affirmation deck here. So like I was saying before, at the start of the episode, there are several mainstays of the episodes. So we start with astrology, then I teach the main topic if I'm teaching. Then we do the mid-episode reading, and then go back to the topic. And then we finish with the weekend forecast, which is either a tarot card, one card pull of tarot, or an oracle card or an affirmation deck to bring us into the weekend prepared and not scared. And Jenna says, what a beautiful community. I'm so glad you were all so welcoming. It's so wonderful to have this positivity and light. Thank you all so much. You're very, very welcome, Jenna. Welcome. You're a part of it now too. You're a part of the Tarot by Hilary live stream, and I'm very, very happy that you found us, and I'm happy to have you here. I'm trying not to tear up. Emotions are good though. So let's do the weekend forecast. And again, a reminder, I'm going to do this crawler first. Reminder that we do this every Friday night, 6:30 or 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week, what are we doing next week? Is that the Blue-Nosed Witch episode? I'm pretty sure it's Blue-Nosed Witch. Hold on. Let me see. I have to look. Because we planned out October. Yes, it is Spooky Story Time. So at the start of this month, we did Revisiting of the Mary L. Tarot. Friday the 13th, we did the Do's and Don'ts of Party Readings. So that was last week. You can check out the replay on the Tube of You. Today, we did How to Initiate a New Tarot Deck besides just shuffling or seasoning. Again, I'm never going to say seasoning. It sounds like we're cooking chicken, which by the way, was dinner tonight, was chicken. So next week, October 27th, is Spooky Story Time, in which I do the annual Halloween reading of The Blue-Nosed Witch by Margaret Embry. Do it every year. So if you want to check that out, there are replays available of the last four times I've done it, 3 times I've done it. I can't remember. I've been doing this for 4 years now. I lose track of time sometimes. So if you want to see me with my blue nose reading this book, you have to come back next week on Friday and powder your nose blue as well. I want to see it. I might have to do a little a little hashtag on social media, like show me your blue noses. I don't know. Yes. It's tradition. It's tradition. Story time with Hilary, Halloween fun. Exactly. So that's next week. And we will do the mid-episode reading. We will break for the mid-episode reading in the middle of story time. All right. So subscribe, click the button, all of the things. All right. Weekend forecast. Where to find me. Okay. So weekend forecast is coming at you from the Super Attractor Affirmations deck by Gabrielle Bernstein with artwork by Michaela Ezra. So it's a very wordy deck. And we're going to shuffle it up. And this is the affirmation that we need to keep on reminding ourselves of this weekend. Ooh, it's this one, because this one wanted to fly out. Oh, this one's really sweet, guys. When I am in, ooh, don't want to burp. When I'm in a state of appreciation, I'm in vibrational alignment with my true love nature. I'm going to say that again. When I'm in a state of appreciation, I'm in vibrational alignment with my true love nature. That's really sweet. I love that. So let's remember that this weekend. Also, guys, I have, maybe this is, what is it? The Mercury in Scorpio, where it's just a little, secret stuff. But, I did mention the other week that I recorded an interview with one of my tapping certification colleagues, basically. She wasn't in the same class as me, but I ended up pre-recording an episode that I'm going to show you guys in November. And I'm thinking it's going to be in the second week in November. So the second Friday in November. So I still am going to be here live in November. But I'm going to be showing you that pre-recorded episode since she wasn't going to be able to join us at the live time. Do you want to see a little bit of it? I'm not going to show you a lot. I'm just going to show you a little bit of it. And I'm not going to show it to you at all if you don't respond. But I get really excited. And I want to like I really wanted to release it like immediately. Like immediately I wanted to like share it right away, but I'm just like, no, this is the problem with batching episodes or, you know, doing multiple things at the same time. Okay, so Katie wants a preview. All right. Well, first of all, let me see if I can actually upload it because it is about 45 minutes long. So I don't know if I can, and I'm hopeful that I will be able to. Otherwise, I'm going to have to figure out something else. Where is it? Because this was last week. Hold on. Oh my God, how am I going to trying to remember what I saved it under? Okay. All right, where is it? Oh, come on. I know I saved it. I am going to be very, very annoyed if it somehow didn't save. Oh my God, no. Where is it? Hold on, there it is. It has to be this one. No, no. I will find it, guys. Did I not save it? I'm going to be real mad, guys, if I didn't save it. But I swear I did. Uh-oh. No, no, no. Ha. Okay. It's not that. No. No. Oh, I'm going to be so pissed off if I didn't save it. Oh no, here it is. No wonder I couldn't find it. It wasn't saved. I wasn't saved in the right way, guys. It was saved though. I found it. Okay. Okay. Oh, oh, oh. That really scared me. All right, I did get preview yes and a yes, and maybe we aren't meant to see it yet. Maybe. It's taking a little while to upload it. So I'll see if it eventually uploads. If it eventually uploads, then I know we're going to be able to do what I want to do in November, which is going to be the second week in November, showing this. That really scared me, guys, because have you ever done something and thought like, wow, that was really good, like and then you ended up having to redo it or re-record it, and you're just like, oh, I know that's like not even half as good as the original thing. That's kind of how I feel like with lives at this point, where it's just like I know the pre-recording is just not as good, or I don't feel as comfortable as just doing it live. I mean, even watching the little presentation that I recorded for y'all before, that I played, it still felt a little bit stilted, even though I knew and I felt like I knew I was presenting it to you guys, just not in the live time and space. It still felt a little bit stilted. What is it about live video that does that to me? I don't know. All right. All right, it's 100% uploaded. So let me show you. And I'm going to just scroll ahead. I don't want to start it like right at the beginning. I'm going to scroll ahead and see if there's maybe something that we need to know from that now. Let's see. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tarot.
Like, if you knew you had this pill that you could take after anything to manage discomfort,
why wouldn't
you would
take
be
it?
like, yeah, take every risk. You'd be like asking people out on the street. You'd be whatever, doing all the things that you're nervous about. And I think that's what suddenly I turned around and that was happening. I was just like doing all these things that I would have been terrified of.
Yeah. And would you, it sounds like it's so interesting that you say that, because it sounds almost like my relationship with tapping at first, because I'm just like it's not doing anything for me. Like, for the first time I tapped, I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever, and I feel like it was, part of it was like, I don't believe this is bullshit, it can't really help, that kind of like underlying skepticism, basically. And a lot of people are surprised by this when I say I'm like the most skeptical person you will ever meet, and it's just like, but you're a tarot reader and you're a witch and you're this and then that, and it's just like, and that should show the power of the things that I'm doing, where it's just like, when I would read tarot, I got so scared by it, by how accurate I was, or how accurate it was for like what I was going through or what I was saying to other people, that I put it away. I was just like, oh, nope, this is too real. I'm not ready for it. And I think the same thing happened with tapping, where it was just like, I will be a big proponent of something because seeing is believing. Like, there was too many coincidences. And also I think at first I wasn't getting a lot of benefits out of tapping because there was some underlying belief that was telling me this can't work. This is not going to work, or this is not going to work for me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I think I was also doing very surface tapping. And you know what I mean when I say surface tapping, right? I was just like, I was tapping on like little silly things that really didn't matter to me. So it was just like, it didn't matter if it worked or not, because it was just like
testing the waters to make sure that it doesn't work.
Right. It's just like, I'm going to show how much bullshit this is. But it was just like, but it was very surface tapping. I wasn't really getting into it. And that is also a form of resistance, as we have learned. So yay, ding, 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 secondary benefits and resistance. Like, what are you resisting?
And didn't you forget? Because I always forget that, like, I used to feel that way about tapping, because now it's the apex effect, like all the things that
Yes.
you've already tapped through, like you forget that they used to be issues for you.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Oh my God. Yeah, so Katie was saying before when I was playing that doing everything you were terrified of without fear. Now that's a promo line if ever you heard one. Yeah, so that's Lizzie Aurora. So she is, I believe, a licensed marriage and family therapist. And she is also a tapping practitioner as well. So yeah, that's pre-recorded. And we get into a lot of different stuff. Very exciting. Yes, I'm excited for it, and I hope you guys are excited too. So I'm really glad that it actually uploaded. That means that I can go ahead and do that next month when we do that episode. And I'm going to actually have to listen to that episode over again so that I can kind of get that through line in order to promote the episode, basically. But I mean, Katie, I think that's a great suggestion. Doing everything you were terrified of without fear. Well, I mean, okay. There's a tapping that I did. It's available free on the Tube of You, which is feeling the fear, tapping on feeling the fear and doing it anyway. I think that tapping would be very helpful for you. And I mean, I don't mean you, Katie, but I mean, if you want to, that's fine. But like in the general you, if you find that promo line or tagline alluring, like you may want to do that tapping that I've provided. But yeah, so that's an exclusive preview of one of the episodes that's coming up next month, probably the second week in November. And I'll be showing that to you. And I will also be here live to answer any questions, at least from my end. And I know that Lizzie will also be very excited to answer your questions as well, even though she's not going to be able to join us live in the viewing of her episode. So yeah. All right. That wraps up another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Once again, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. You absolutely have intuition. And please feel free to follow my new social media account, Tapping by Hilary. So it's almost exactly the same as my other one, Tarot by Hilary, Tapping by Hilary. So go ahead and follow me on the gram of Insta. That's probably the only place that I'm going to have that account name, because I want to try it out and experiment. So see about running a social media account fresh from the start, knowing what I know now, basically. So Katie says, thank you, Hilary. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. And Jenna says, very excited for that, and also to binge watch your whole channel. Yeah. Thank you so much for the reading. I appreciate you and the universe for bringing me here. You're very welcome, Jenna. Oh, that makes me so happy. All right. Good night, everybody. Enjoy your binge watch, Jenna. We've got plenty of episodes to choose from. And see you next week on Friday for the spooky storytime reading of The Blue Nosed Witch. Bye.